Coming up next on this edition of In the City, a legend in the aviation industry made a stop at the Murfreesboro Municipal Airport. Plus, a grant from the state of Tennessee was donated to the Technology Center at Hopgood Elementary. Also, a team of 5th grade students at Northfield Elementary enters into the first LEGO League. And a very popular lake off of Highway 99 was donated to the city of Murfreesboro. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Michael Linn White. The Murfreesboro Municipal Airport serves the community by welcoming visitors to the city, whether for business or personal reasons. The airport also has different outreach programs for citizens that promote the history of aviation.
Murfreesboro Municipal Airport played host to a 1928 Ford tri-motor airplane, the world's first mass-produced airplane that marked the beginning of commercial flight. This plane makes stops at airports all over the country to show off its beauty and to provide plane rides to enthusiasts.
The tri-motor concept was proven before the Ford tri-motor was built. The Ford tri-motor turned out to be an extremely reliable aircraft. It set a new standard for reliability and durability in its day. Between 26 and 32, they built 199 of these. There's about 20 of them left. Most of those are static in museums. There's a half a dozen flyable. We have the only 2 that fly all the time, and we tour 10 or 10 and a half months out of every year with these all over the country.
Ed flies for EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association, which is an organization of aviators and innovators. This plane is on loan from the Liberty Aviation Museum in Port Clinton, Ohio, and toured around the country.
Our Ford Tri-Motor Tour is an aviation outreach. We bring general aviation to the public through history. And we do it because we love general aviation and because it's fun, too.
Ed flies this plane as a volunteer pilot for EAA because he loves aviation and because he has a unique tri-motor history.
As a kid in 1973, I went to work for an outfit in Ohio who had the last commercial tri-motor in the world. And after I worked for them for several years, I was promoted to captain on their tri-motor, and I flew it, and I became the last commercial Ford tri-motor pilot in the world. This airplane, although it's ultra reliable and a very controllable aircraft, it is different considerably from the airplanes that we fly today. It's heavy on the controls. It takes a lot of muscle to make it do what you want it to. We have one pilot who is fond of saying that it'll do anything you want whenever it's ready.
Ed talks about the experience riders get when they step onto this 1928 aircraft.
The airplane takes off in a very short order. It's a little noisier than what you're used to on the airlines today. It has a little more vibration to it than what you experience today, but it climbs very well. You can see out of it. It's easy to see out of it. We'll climb up to about 1,000 feet, and we'll take a turn around town. The weather, of course, is gorgeous, so that really helps today too. The airplane goes pretty slow. We cruise about 85 miles an hour, which is slow by comparison to today's 500-mile-an-hour airplanes. And then we'll come back in and land. The airplane comes down very slowly and lands gently. It's a nice ride.
Advocates from the state of Tennessee government came to Murfreesboro with their support and a big check for a project that will help citizens in many different ways.
Lineball Public Library System's new Technology Engagement Center is under construction and is located on the campus of Hopgood Elementary. When it opens, all it will take to visit the center is your Lineball library card. It will offer meeting rooms, access to computers, 3D printing, children's area, and technology and innovation classes. Recently, Tennessee's Secretary of State presented a $100,000 construction grant to the center.
We are so pleased that we are standing in front of this building because it looks like a building. And I am just so pleased that because of Rutherford County, and we have Mayor Burgess with us, the city of Murfreesboro, and we have Mayor Shane McFarland, and Christy Houston, and we have Bill Jones, who's the chair of the Christy Houston board with us, because without them this would not be possible.
Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, we are the fastest growing community in the state, but one of the fastest growing in the top 13, I believe, in the entire country. And all we hear time after time in talking to our manufacturers, our businesses in our community is they need a trained workforce. So this opportunity with this check and what the Christy Houston Foundation and the city of Murfreesboro and the county are doing, it gives us an opportunity to get adults to come into the facility, and they may not even have computer skills or know how to fill out an application for employment. So this is a great opportunity and will fill a void that I think is will serve us well into the future.
The vision of this is amazing. To be able to allow adults to come in and get those skills they need. You know, in Tennessee, we're always talking about workforce development and that we need to train better. And what better way than to give them hands-on experience with the technology that's going to be in this center.
Whether it's the outer loop of traffic or modernizing schools or educating our children, the city of Murfreesboro is always thinking ahead and on the ball more than most cities their size around the country. This is a fantastic facility, and they're building them around the state, both as standalone facilities and in libraries. This type of technology is at the forefront of other states. I think it's fair to say that a lot of other states aren't as advanced as Tennessee is being in planning for the future of our children and training of our adults as well.
It's just my privilege to be here and play a small part in the construction of this fantastic facility. It's going to serve this community so well. It's going to be the envy of a lot of library facilities around this great state. When you think about the computer resources that people are going to have access to, the 3D printers, what they call a creator room or maker room, where people are going to have the opportunity to go in and utilize technology to build new things. The meeting rooms are going to serve this community so well. It's just really exciting to see a community like Murfreesboro and Rutherford County invest in something like this. And we get the opportunity every year to put $300,000 statewide into library construction grants. We make a maximum grant of $100,000 on 3 separate occasions. And I'm pleased that today we're making the maximum grant of $100,000 here in Rutherford County to be used for the construction of this fantastic facility.
A group of Murfreesboro City School students and teachers have formed a team to compete against other schools in a science and technology tournament.
For the first time, a group of Northfield Elementary 5th graders are competing in First Lego League that competes all over the country. This league was formed to introduce students to science and technology in a sporty atmosphere. The team of students are working together to compete against other schools in Tullahoma, Tennessee. The coach, a 5th grade math and science teacher, explains 3 aspects to this competition.
The actual competition has 3 aspects to it. There is the project team, the core values team, and then there is the robot team. And each of these 3 things has a separate but very cohesive component into the whole project. Every year there's a different theme for the First Lego League. And this year it's hydrodynamics. So they have chosen to look at the amount of money that our schools pay for water and seeing if there were different ways that they could help us conserve our utility use.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to find a way to reduce our water bills.
This is from
to
2
buy
years.
More stuff.
This is from 2 years ago, and we used 2 million gallons. About 2 million gallons and $15,000. But last year we used 1 million gallons and $10,000.
Core values team, they really are focused on the core values of the competition, which include things like discovery, integration, cooperation, and integrity. And they actually create a poster and they present these examples that they've seen throughout our practices.
We look around our whole entire team to find integration, cooperation, discovery, and inclusion.
And then the third group is the robot team. So we actually have that group broken into 3. We have a missions team that has to go through and make sure every mission is set up like it's supposed to be set up and it works properly. And then we have the coding team that actually goes in and codes the robot. And then we have the robot team that is actually designing and trying to figure out different things that need to go on the robot to make the robot perform the different missions.
We are building missions so the robot can complete them for the competition day.
The movements of the robot are written in codes to perform a task or mission on a board. During this practice session, they had multiple trial and error attempts. In the competition, they earn points as a mission is completed.
Right now we've got this one mission where the robot has to push a lever forward, and so every mission is something different, and there's many things. We were ecstatic to get one mission, but it looks like they might be able to pull out a couple. There's a time limit, and we can do certain things within those time limits, and then they have penalty chips. So like if we make the robot come back to home base too many times and change the attachments too many times, then we get a penalty.
In the competition, every team works off the same board, and missions, depending on difficulty, are scored differently.
Every mission has a point value because some of the missions are harder than others. So if we do some easy missions, then that's a lower point value. Everybody's map's the same. Everybody's missions are all the same. So coding has always been something that's very interesting and intriguing to me. And so when they said robots and coding, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. Let's go. And then Mrs. Orcutt and I, we have similar philosophies when it comes to cooperative learning and things such as that. And so we've been wanting to do something together anyway. So this just got a good opportunity for us to work together.
A very popular body of water is now under the management of the City of Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department, thanks to a local businessman.
A very gracious donation has been made to the City of Murfreesboro that will give residents another choice for recreation. A popular lake beside the bridge off of Highway 99 near World Outreach Church is the location of the body of water.
This is what's considered Farmer Lake or Sterling Farmer Lake. And on the other side is the Greenway, so people are real familiar with that section. The Cason Lane trailhead is over this direction beyond the bridge. So a lot of people are familiar with this Farmer Lake area though for fishing. They just kind of come in on fishing paths and have done that for years and years. It was presented in a gift for us through the Mark Pirtle family. He donated about 13 acres roughly, and we're really excited to have it. We have used this area in the past for kayaking and canoeing with our kids programs, and the access has always been a little challenging. We would come in from the Greenway side, but it was a lot of portaging, to get the boats here. So we're excited with the possibility of improving the access and being able to get to it easier. Currently, how people are accessing this area is, through private property, just on dirt paths. But once we have this area developed the way we would like, we're going to have this access road that comes off of Warrior Drive that will be the public access. Hopefully have some parking and be able to allow people to put a boat in on a ramp of some sort, but also just kind of walk along the Stones River and be able to fish here. I think the thing that we're excited about is anytime that we can, have an opportunity to conserve an area in our floodplains, in our riparian zones, that becomes really important, just from that conservation standpoint. It's a relatively small area, but it does hopefully going to connect to our greenway on the other side here. So, just being able to add more access and more areas for the community to come and enjoy it. This would be a great access point because it's more lake-like, where it's the flat water. You're not moving down a river. So things that I see us being able to use it for are beginning kayaking, to be able to teach paddle strokes, and then stand-up paddleboarding, where you might need kind of some flatter water. And this area would definitely provide that.
The City of Murfreesboro Transportation Department will conduct a comprehensive study of the stop conditions in downtown Murfreesboro to determine whether traffic warrants additional signage at more than a dozen intersections. After the opening of the Broad and Memorial Bridge and the realigned Lytle Street, the Transportation Department will initiate a comprehensive traffic study to determine whether increased traffic warrants more than the standard stop sign at intersections in downtown areas, said City Manager Rob Lyons. While a thorough traffic study of downtown traffic conditions will take time, other safety enhancements will be implemented. On November 27th, the Transportation Department started repainting the existing pavement striping and stop bars on Manny Avenue and Lytle Street. The street division of the City of Murfreesboro is going into its second year of using a delivery system to help clear roads of snow and ice during winter months.
One of the jobs the Murfreesboro Street Division performs is to keep the streets clear of ice and snow during the winter months. In the past, the department has only used salt to clear the roads, which is a reactive approach. The department now is going to take a proactive approach by applying salt brine to the roads before the snow and ice ever hits the roads. 2 new trucks, a brine making and brine delivery system has been purchased. Studies show that salt brines used prior to snowfall is more effective than rock salt because it can start working immediately. The process for making the brine is quite simple. Rock salt that is stored under a shed at the Street Division office off of West Main Street, as well as the city facility off of Florence Road, is added to a bin where water is mixed in and the rock salt will slowly liquefy.
And it shows it here that it's making it. Now once it gets to the salinity level that it wants, it transfers it from here to the brine tank.
The system is capable of producing 200 gallons of the brine per minute or 12,000 gallons an hour.
If it ever fills up with trash, you can just open it here where you can clean the tank out.
Once the brine is properly mixed, it is transferred to a 10,000 gallon brine tank where it will be stored until it is ready to be used. When winter storms hit, the Street Division would not only use brine, they still use rock salt as well. The combination of the two do a better job at clearing roads. Jamie explains the new equipment that can handle both substances.
You put rock salt in the V-box container, then you have brine in these tanks here, one on each side. And as the rock salt is coming out, this right here is slinging it, spreading it. And with these places right here is injecting the brine onto it to activate the salt.
The city also purchased 2 new dump trucks that are used to load the V-box containers to spread the rock salt and brine. They also are used for many other tasks.
Well, this truck would have that V-box spreader in it. We use this truck for not just salt. I mean, it's used for everything we do here. Hauling dirt, hauling rock, hauling off houses, buildings we tear down. The V-box sits inside there. You just back up to those and they slide in the bin. You have to take the tailgate off. We got these trucks, they come equipped with this blade underneath here. It's an underbody scraper. It will put pressure down on the road if you have ice to help break the ice loose from the road and the snow. All right, we're inside the truck, and this lever here will work your new scrapers that we have underneath them, up and down, left and right. This one raises the bed, and this here goes to the new V-boxes, and it's all computerized. You put in there, you can go from 100 pounds to 500 pounds of salt per lane mile. And no matter how fast or slow you're driving, it'll recalibrate itself to put no more than that down. A gauge here that will tell the air temperature and also gives the road temperature, so you can know when you need salt and when you don't. We can check the bridges and overpasses, and those usually freeze over first. We can go out and check them with that and know when to put salt on them.
The last thing to do before the truck heads out to spread the brine is to fill up the brine tanks on the V-box.
Just hook this up to the back of the truck. Just come here to this and push in your truck number, how many gallons you want, and hit start. It'll fill it up.
Reading is an important part of a child's education. We found out how reading just 20 minutes a day can help your child succeed.
The Murfreesboro City Schools, as well as the state of Tennessee, is pushing a new program that focuses on improving childhood literacy by parents reading to their children.
The main focus of Read 20 is for parents to sit down with their children and have that one-on-one time with them in their lap, enjoying a book. And so one of the things that we're asking in our community is for students and their parents to read 20 minutes a day from the time children are born. Because what we know is that our brains use the language centers of the areas to read later. And so with parents talking to their children and reading with their children, it really prepares their brain for that reading instruction. I think the main push in that is we're seeing children coming in less ready for school. And so there are lots of reasons. One reason is parents aren't reading to their children. We're seeing a lot of technology time, tablets, phones, that sort of thing. So it's just a time to put those things away and sit down with your child with a book. If you can get 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time, just several times over the course of the day, and at bedtime it might be a little bit longer. That can be a really good bedtime routine. You're going to get more bang for your buck because it's going to be hard for a young child to sit that long. So first thing, pointing to the words while you're reading, having the child point to the pictures, talking back and forth about the pictures in the story. So we have resources that will really list out all those tips for reading with your child to make it a really good experience.
Dr. Seuss books made rhyming popular in children's books. We asked how rhyming words help reading development.
Rhyming is word play, and so what that does is it has the student manipulating the language and playing with the language. So two things, it's developing those language centers by that manipulation, but it's also teaching that enjoyment of reading.
Dodson explains the reading level 3- and 4-year-old children should be at to be ready for kindergarten.
At age 3, your child should be able to point to the pictures. They start understanding that the story is in the words and not the pictures. They know the pictures are describing the words. And so as a parent's reading and pointing to the words, they can say, I think you know that word. Or if it's the letter A, the word A, they might say, oh, look, that's a word too. And so just pointing those things out.
English as a second language parents wonder if reading in their native language to their children will be detrimental to them trying to learn English.
Many families don't want to read to their child, let's say in Spanish, if we're talking about a Spanish-speaking family, because they feel like they want their child to speak English. But what we know is that reading to their child in Spanish increases those language centers of the brain, whether it's English or Spanish. And so reading to their child in their native language is absolutely fine, and they should do that.
Dodson gives some examples of games you can play with your child to continue to sharpen their reading skills.
In the grocery store, so as you're walking through the produce section, most children know bananas, apples, but do they know kumquat or a pear? And so really increasing their vocabulary that way. So just talking with your child while you're out and about. What we see is children receiving a lot of commands with language. Do this, sit down, go brush your teeth. Whereas it's more of that serve and return language where you say something, the child responds. The child says something, you respond. And so having those conversations like we would have with an adult are important with your child. Also, anytime you're waiting, we do a lot of waiting at pediatrician's office, those types of things. Have a book with you and sit down and read with your child.
In other news, the Murfreesboro City Council recently voted to approve $5.68 million for construction of a new Fire Station 4, which will be relocated from Jones Boulevard. The reason for the relocation is the station near Mitchell-Nielsen Schools was built in 1959 and has outlasted its usefulness. The proposed location is saving the city money because it's on a previous landfill located in the gateway at Medical Center Parkway. The station will be a middle distance of approximately 2 miles between the city's tallest building downtown and the high-rise Embassy Suites Hotel. It will enable MFRD to achieve Insurance Service Office ISO credit for achieving aerial apparatus response within 2.5 miles. The new Station 4 is also currently designed to include a small MPD precinct with storage space for park officers and a 4x4 vehicle for greenway access. Construction is expected to begin in late 2017 with completion slated by late 2018 or early 2019. The City of Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department is asking citizens to share their suggestions by participating in a web survey. The survey is to obtain West Park name suggestions. The West Park is on a 123-acre parcel of land bordered by Blackman Road, Burnt Knob Road, Veterans Parkway, and I-40 in the Blackman area known as McDonald Farm property. The survey is an opportunity for citizens to be a part of creating a unique and meaningful name to this new addition to the park system. The survey asks for your contact information, suggested name, and explanation if you choose to add one, and takes about 1 to 3 minutes to complete. The survey is available online at cognitoforms.com/cityofmurfreesboro1/West Park name suggestions. The survey is anticipated to end December 31st, 2017 at 5 p.m. The City of Murfreesboro wants to inform you of a packet you'll be receiving in the mail with very important information. Please take a minute and watch this short public service announcement.
The City of Murfreesboro will be conducting a special census in the coming months, so we need your help. This is a state census and simply requires your address and the first and last names of those living at that address. That's it. The state shares revenue with cities on a per capita basis. Do your part to be counted, and we will all benefit from our fair share of the state taxes you already pay. Whether you are native or new to the borough, we need you to be counted. Everyone will receive a census packet in the mail which will include a special 6-digit code specifically for you. Once you get the code, you can fill out the census online by visiting www.murfreesborotn.gov/census, or you can mail in the form that will be included in your census packet. Again, we need your help in filling out the special census. For more information, email census@murfreesborotn.gov. Participate in the special census. Be Murfreesboro, be counted.
City property taxes are due January 2nd, 2018. Taxes paid or postmarked after January 2nd, 2018 will be subject to interest charges. You can look up your property tax information and pay online at www.murfreesborotn.gov. Go to the Finance and Tax page and click on Property Tax Lookup and Payment. The City of Murfreesboro City Hall will be closed in observance of the Christmas holiday, Friday, December 22nd and Monday, December 25th. It will also be closed Monday, January 1st, 2018 in observance of the New Year's holiday. To find out if a Murfreesboro recreation facility is open, call for operating hours. And after the Christmas season is over, you can drop off your live Christmas trees to be recycled anytime at Cannonsburg Village from December 26th through January 16th. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro, you can always visit our website at murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to see one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Michael Linn White, and we want to wish everyone happy holidays. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.